Like, let's say, just to warm me up, we'll do some shots there. Yeah, just to show it. Okay, so I'm using the Viltrox 23mm lens on the Nikon Z. I'm in wide area face detect, and it's able to detect Eliah's eyes, no problem, even at this distance. 1, 2, and 3. And when I zoom in at 1.4, it's pretty sharp. It's just shot again. Whoops. Okay, 1.4. Let's try it again. 1, 2, and 3. And zooming in, shot open, wide open 1.4 is pretty sharp. And when you get closer, no problems with eye detect. Pretty quick. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So the IF for the 56 is really quick, same as the 23. 1, 2, and 3, wide open at 1.4, and it's pretty sharp as well. The Viltrox 23mm, and now I'm using a 56mm. The build quality is actually pretty good for a cheap lens. They sell for, right now as of November 2022, around $300 each. They both have a 52mm filter thread. The 23mm is about 300 grams or 10.6 ounces. The 56mm is a little bit heavier, 320 grams at around 11.3 ounces. But pretty much they both, like in the hands, feel the same. And the aperture ring here is actually clickless. You can actually turn it very smoothly for both photo and video on both lenses. Eliah's still in her first outfit, and we're gonna still shoot a little bit more, and we have a second outfit later on for the beach. 1, 2, 3. This is with the 56 1.4. It even has the lens hood on, but I'm actually getting a lot of glare. As you can see, when the leaves move and the sun enters, a lot of glare here in the bottom. But actually, it creates a nice effect. Okay, 1, 2, and 3. Nice. So both of these lenses, the 23 and the 56, they both have extra low dispersion elements and high refractive index glass, which helps with CA, chromatic aberrations. As I saw earlier in the video, there was a lot of flare that I'm getting with the 56 1.4, but I think it also adds to the shot. Both lenses have 9 diaphragm blades for that smooth bokeh, which the 56 1.4, as you can see on this backlit scene, I think it's decent. It's producing a good smooth bokeh. The 56 has 10 elements and 9 groups versus the 23, which is 11 elements and 10 groups. But I would like to introduce our model to help me with the shoot today.
Hi.
Sorry, she was looking at the photos.
Hi, I'm Eliah.
And this is Eliah's kind of second time on the channel. The first time I was just doing a narration while doing a shoot with you with the Leica S007. How do you like the photos so far coming from this lens?
I really like it. It looks so good.
I'm using a filter. I think the filter's got denim, 60% opacity, just to give it kind of like that grunge look with your outfit. But do you notice the photos being sharp, or do you notice contrasty?
The quality is really good.
Oh, good. Even, you know, compared with a cheaper lens. I'm used to shooting lenses that are over $1,000, but I think the pictures we're getting today, I don't think people would be able to tell if it was shot with an expensive lens or a cheap lens. Okay, we'll keep on shooting. With the 23mm Viltrox lens, the closest focusing is about 11.8 inches. With the 56, the closest focusing is about 2 feet. I like that they both have metal lens hoods, and they're both, of course, made in China. So I'm going to see if I can get some upper body shots with Eliah or headshots, and then we can really test the sharpness and the bokeh. So how do you like the photos so far?
It looks really nice. I really like it.
And you're doing a great job, by the way, modeling. Your facial expressions, you're welcome, are very good. I try to do up above shot, and it was kind of hard because this rear screen is very reflective, but I'm kind of sticking to the 56 1.4 just because it's able to give a much better subject to background separation. If you notice, than the shots we did over there with the wider lens, which is more environmental. But yeah, earlier you were saying that I'm making you look good, but I think it is you. You're doing a really awesome job.
Thank you.
And we still have one more outfit, beachwear, and we're gonna try to go where the grassy area is. There's a little bit of sand there, so I'm sure we're gonna get good shots while the sun's setting. So both these lenses, they have the STM, the stepping motor. It is very quiet, focusing internally. Eliah right now is changing into her second outfit, but actually, I'm just gonna use the 56 1.4 for the rest of the shoot. Is equivalent to 85, around 85 1.8 in like full frame terms. Still able to blur the background pretty nicely. I kind of like the 35mm and 85mm focal length for primes and full frame. So the 23 and the 56 actually gives me that. These lenses are very lightweight. It matches the Nikon Z FC pretty good. No complaints about it. Focusing is actually pretty good. What I think is cool about the lenses is there's a USB-C connector where you can actually update the firmware in these lenses. So I updated the 56 and I updated 23mm to the latest firmware versions, and I also updated the ZFC to the latest firmware version, which I believe is 1.20. So the autofocusing performance is like the best you can get with all the firmware updates right now. So Eliah should be coming in soon, and we're going to do some sunset shots with her in the beachwear. Right there where the dead grass is. 1, 2, and 3. Sun's coming in. 1, 2, and 3. Focus. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so I'm trying to see 2 feet cam focus, going back a little bit. Actually is locking on focus. 1, 2, and 3. I'm gonna do IG story real quick before the. Okay, 1, 2, 3, good. Hold that pose. Okay, hold that pose. 1, 2, and 3. Good. Look towards the ocean. Okay, so it started to rain, and we're trying to hide from the rain underneath this tree. How do you like the photo so far with this lens of 56?
They look really cool.
The sunset's really nice. some rays coming in. I'm gonna see if I can capture it, but I need to put the camera, well, I'm shooting in RAW and JPEG fine. So I need to Photoshop the background, lower down the highlights. But we'll keep on shooting. The rain has stopped a little bit.
This one looks cute.
1, 2, and 3. Look towards the ocean. Very good. Right hand over your tummy. Good. I'm gonna get the ocean as well. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, look at camera. Good. 1, 2, and 3. This is 3/4 body. You can look at the camera. Good. 1, 2, 3. Chin down slightly. Very good. 1, 2, 3. So we are done with our photo shoot. The rain has stopped. There was maybe like 1 or 2 minutes of like bright sun coming out from the clouds, peeking out. We got a lot of good shots just right here next to the leaves, bush area. And overall, I think it was a really good photo shoot. We got a lot of good photos, and if I post this online and not tell people what lens I use, I don't think they'll know the difference between using this cheap lens and like a $2,000 lens. But Eliah, how did you like the photo shoot overall?
I feel like this was better than the last one.
The last one, I think it was like your first time ever in front of the camera, right? Yeah. Kind of, sort of. And then I know this time maybe a little bit more nervousness because you're in front of 2 cameras for YouTube and this camera. But again, you did a really good job.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And I think after maybe about like 20 minutes, like your posing was really good. Just needed to warm up a little bit. Yeah. But I can't wait to go home and edit some of these photos. Actually, the filters I was using, the second part, I believe was called Toy filter. It adds a little bit of a vignetting around the picture. I think if the JPEGs are good coming out from the camera, maybe I'll just use those instead of editing the RAW files, but I may need to edit the RAW files in front of the sun. All right, everyone, thanks for watching Guam Photography, and if you haven't, please subscribe. Bye.
Bye.
All right, we are home now. Let's take a look at some RAW files from the Nikon Z FC using a 23mm and 56mm Viltrox. If you notice, I kind of rearranged the YouTube office a little bit. Showing here on the screen, let me just go to RAW. This is RAW and unedited. You can see with the 23mm, it's equivalent to around a 35mm full frame. Zooming in 100%, it is pretty sharp at 1.4. Again, this is a RAW file, and there is a little bit subject to background separation. Another example of this, again, RAW file, clicking reset here, zooming in 1.4, 100%. Actually, it's pretty sharp. It's doing a good job. Let's zoom into 200%. A little bit of motion blur. Let's go back to the first photo. 200%. Yeah, it is actually pretty sharp at 1.4. It was my fault with the motion blur. So basically, for the rest of the photo shoot, we switched off with the 56mm, which is equivalent to around an 85 portrait lens on full frame. This is taken at 1.4, zooming in 100%. It's sharp. It's decent. 200%. It's not bad. It's not sharp compared to a lot of lenses that I'm used to, but for $299, it gets the job done. So this is what I was talking to you about. This is a RAW file. With the lens hood on, there's actually a lot of flare when the sun is coming in. Wide open 1.4, it is very sharp. Eliah's face is super sharp. but there is a lot of ghosting entering the lens. I think it makes for good effect. So this is one of my favorite photos from the shoot. This is a RAW file, but if you're wondering, this is the JPEG straight out of the camera. It looks really nice. I believe I was using the toy picture control at around 50 or 60% to give it a look. Zooming into the RAW file 1.4, it is sharp. Again, not as sharp as I would like it to be, but with all the firmware updates, and let's look at the JPEG. Yeah, it's pretty nice, pretty sharp. With other firmware updates I did with the Nikon Z and I'm dating the Viltrox lenses, this is the best it can get as of right now with the autofocus performance. This is a RAW file with Eliah's face, 2 feet focusing. I did notice zooming in 100%, it got maybe the corner of her eye, but there's like a nice glow, has like a nice softness to it. Again, this is a JPEG straight out of the camera. I believe this is using the denim filter at around 50%, but it's pretty decent. The bokeh here at close focusing, it is very smooth. Let's look at another RAW file. Again, the bokeh here is pretty smooth, wide open. It is sharp. Let's look at the JPEG. Just brightens up the whole image. Again, unedited, but again, the bokeh here is very nice, very smooth. Even if you have shots such as this, half body, further away shots, the background is still really smooth. I won't before using this 56mm lens. No complaints here. Let's go to one of my favorite photos, which is this one. You really can't go wrong with either lens, the Viltrox 23 1.4 to 56 1.4. It is a very good value at $299. You really can't go wrong. In the photography world, $299 is considered a cheap lens. But just looking at the photo on the screen, straight out of camera JPEG, no editing whatsoever. A lot of people won't think this is taken with a $300 lens. I would really recommend, of course, the 56mm for portraits. You can get away using a 23, but again, my comfort zone is using the 85 or 50. I'm not used to using the 23, which is equivalent to a 35mm full frame. Maybe that's for environmental portraits, but using this 56, it's a joy to use. I would recommend this lens for the Nikon Z. We don't have that much choices for APS-C Z mount. And today announced was the Nikon 40mm f2 lens. I'm not too sure if I'm gonna get that one, but for portraits, I would just stick with the fastest aperture right now. That's equivalent to 85, which is the Viltrox 1.4. Thank you everyone for watching Guam Photography, and if you haven't, please subscribe.